Hello everyone, welcome to the ExtraAmo channel. I'm Andrew, and today we're going to talk about the Kuna. Okay guys, in true Grand Thumb fashion, we'll go tip to butt here. Out front, I have the Combat Application Technologies, the CAT MOB suppressor with their proprietary QD mount. Behind that, I've got the Bifrost Gear QD switch, a Holosun Iris 3 IR laser on a Unity riser, Holosun Ames Gold Dot on a Scalar Works, and back here we've got the Strike Industries brace. Now, down below here, I have the Nexus lower that's compatible with CZ Scorpion magazines and regular AR trigger packs, so that I can use this guy here, the Atrius Super-Selektor. Let's see what it can do. Okay, standard capacity CZ Scorpion magazine, charge on the side, and we got two modes here, semi-auto and super semi-auto. Pretty cool. Okay, so it seems to be performing pretty well, but I figured it'd be nice to shoot a couple groups, okay? And second group. Okay, let's go check them out. Now, I really wanted a small gun, something I could like stick in a bag, you know, just in case I had to, that would have a good trigger, a semi-automatic mode, and be able to shoot really fast if necessary. Decided on 9mm, and oh, not good groups. Yeah, that sucks. Andrew needs to shoot better if we're gonna do this, don't we? Yeah, Andrew's gotta be better at shooting for the important groups, wouldn't you say? Yikes. Also, my zero might want to come down a little bit because it's probably here, and I'm whiffing it on those. Let's get some new targets. We'll do it again. Okay, Andrew, you're on the internet. Shoot groups that don't suck. All right. Okay, let's check them out again. All right, a little bit better and a little bit better. I'd go ahead and consider that something of a win. It is 9mm now. We are shooting 147 grain FMJ from Armscore today. And at that range, I won't consider that an absolute failure. I'm trying. Okay, so like I mentioned on the first episode of my podcast, which if you haven't listened to, please go do so. It's it'll help metrics or whatever. I want to explain not just what this is, but why I made the decisions I did. Starting up here with the suppressor. This is a interesting internal design. I don't know if we're still using the term flow through or low back pressure or what term is used to define this, but Pew Science says it is very quiet, and in my experience it has been very quiet. But more importantly, if this is going in a bag, it's made of titanium, which makes it very light, and so far I am happy with it. One thing I'm not so happy about though is their muzzle device. I don't know why they felt the need to add this much space on the end of this, but you could definitely have done this with the threads being further back. And I don't know about you guys, but I like how it looks when you get it real close at the end, you know, when the muzzle device is just right there with the handguard. And I've already ordered a third-party muzzle device that is closer so that I can get this to look better, because I am that kind of OCD. Now, pressure switch here, I mentioned before, it's the Bifrost gear. I've been liking their products quite a bit. I'm just sort of trying this one out right now. It has multiple different tips that you can plug in to interface with a bunch of different things. This one is the crane that goes to the HoloSun IR laser. Why did I put this on here? Well, that's simple. I like shooting with night vision, especially things that are suppressed, and so I end up putting IR stuff on a lot of my guns that probably don't need it, but I kind of like it. So I'm gonna keep doing it. HoloSun aims, it's fine. It's gold. It's kind of cool. Comes with a hex cap on the front, a anti-reflection device, or ARD, that cuts down on glare and also makes it harder to see from the front, which is kind of cool. And then I had to put it on this Scalar Works riser because otherwise I couldn't see it because of this guy in front. Now for the fun stuff. Nexus Firearms makes a lower for the Kuna. It allows you to put a standard AR trigger and take CZ Scorpion magazines. Now, the magazines that came with this originally, I didn't have any problems with, but they are brand new and unique to the Springfield Kuna. I had a whole bunch of these from my Scorpion, and they are readily available and very inexpensive. Magpul mags of a capacity. A standard capacity. So it is cooler that it uses those magazines, but like I mentioned before, the really cool thing is that it lets you put a standard trigger in here, which I chose a POF trigger, I'll get to that in a bit, and then that Atrius Super-Selektor. Now, reason I went with the POF trigger is that in my testing, I have found it works best with this particular device here, working in all of the modes. I like a good trigger press. So when you talk about some of the drop-in forced reset triggers, I'm not a huge fan of the semi-automatic mode performance of that trigger. This one's pretty good. Okay. So, before I lost my train of thought, I was talking about the trigger. This trigger here is a POF, and it's a cassette trigger, or a drop-in trigger, okay? Now, if you're trying to replace the trigger in your AR, one of the easier ways to do that is to use these drop-in triggers. I'm not a huge fan of those normally, because I like a Geissele SSAE 2-stage that is not a drop-in, that's a more traditional trigger. So why am I using this? Well, I have found that the drop-in cassette trigger, specifically this one, because it actually has these little like rubber nubs on the bottom instead of the adjustable set screws, works really well with this Atrius Super-Selektor safety. I have found that other guns, such as like an HK SP5 with the AR lower, would run great with this. Unfortunately, you can't do it because the drop-in triggers do not fit into the AR lower that is compatible with the HK. So when people find out that I've got this and they're like, why aren't you using the HK if you want to shoot super fast and super safe mode? I'll say, yeah, because I want a three-position thumb selector for shooting very fast. I want that, and I want a good trigger. And I want it in a gun that is roller delayed. Now, what does that mean? That means that there's actually a piece in here that rolls in a cam that delays the blowback. It makes it smoother and, as far as I can tell, reduces the chance of accidents, like out-of-battery detonations that for a long time Scorpions were known to have a problem with. Well, on a direct blowback, The only thing that's resisting that case coming backwards is the mass of the bolt carrier. Here, you've got another mechanism that makes it smoother and keeps it safer, especially if you're shooting quick. So that works for me. This whole gun, very smooth, and I am very pleased with how it turned out, especially when you combine the fact that I've got all of it really working well. I've put this same trigger and this same mechanism into some other firearms, and I would say their compatibility is good, but you get instances where something's overrun something else and you have to disassemble the gun to get it back together. I've yet to have that issue with this, albeit I'm only 300 or 400 rounds into it, so we'll see how it goes as I test more. But so far, I'm happy with the performance. Things I don't really like, this brace is not great. I definitely have to switch that out. And if I'm listing the things that I really don't like, this doesn't have a white light on it. So I know most of you are thinking, hey Andrew, doesn't that have enough shit on it already? The answer would be yes. And my response is probably I'm gonna add more shit. Unfortunately, I just can't do it. If this is going to be a bag gun, a gun that I presumably could carry around with me, I think it needs all the doodads. So there may very well be an opportunity for me to do another video, or at the very least a quick update on this once it's in its final form. But for now, I've been Andrew, this has been the Extra Ammo channel, and thank you for coming to my lead talk.